Rafael Grossi is the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency. He joins me now live from Vienna. Thanks for being with us. What you and the Iranian foreign minister are saying, if we bring up his tweet, they don't sound like two people who were at the same meeting. Because the foreign minister is saying cordial, fruitful talks.
I can guarantee that we were. I can guarantee that we were at the same place.
Very different takes, different takes.
Not necessarily. I think one of the reasons behind my trip there to Tehran was, first of all, to establish contact with them. This is a new government, as you know very well, a government that has very firm opinions about their nuclear program and the way in which they have been dealing with the agency, and also with you were talking in your introduction about the JCPOA and the talks that are about to start here in Vienna in a few days. So it was very important, indeed necessary, for me to get to know them, to sit down and to listen to them, to listen to their take on things, and also to be able to say what I believe it needs to happen. We had I had a series of meetings. Of course, one of them was with the foreign minister, Amir Abdullahian, and then our negotiations were inconclusive, as I said. So I hope that we can come to an agreement. I read the tweet that you kindly read as well, and I hope that this means that perhaps they are now willing to come to an agreement, and I will be the first. If necessary, I will go back.
So what's the sticking point? I understand that you want to go back to Tehran if there is hope. The foreign minister is saying a meeting will be held soon. Where's the big sticking point? Because from what the IAEA is saying, it seems like the Iranians are not opening up all the facilities. And in some cases, you said that you were concerned with incidences of agency inspectors being subjected to excessively invasive physical searches by security officials at nuclear stations.
Well, there are
it doesn't sound like they're being as open as you want them to be, and the talks restart in a few days.
No, exactly. I would agree with that, and I hope they will be. I hope they will be, because I think it's in their own interest to reestablish certain monitoring and verification capacities that we used to have there, and we are talking about this. So it is my hope that we will able to solve this. This is urgent. And then there are a number of more, long-term issues that we have been discussing with Iran. I had an opportunity to discuss them with you a few months ago, I remember. So a number of issues that still need to be clarified with regards to the nuclear activities in Iran. So it's about as much as substance as process. So is to have a channel of contacts, and when we're talking about an agreement, is to talk about certain basic understandings we need to have on how we need to work.
I just want to, because we have limited time. I know you have to run to another meeting, but I want to ask you about the U.S. The U.S. is the one that pulled out of the JCPOA. We know under the Trump administration, there's some willingness to rejoin. If rejoining this agreement on the U.S. side is predicated upon allowing inspectors to do their checks, and the Iranians are not letting the inspectors do their checks, you're saying it yourself. I mean, it doesn't sound hopeful going forward that this deal can be revived, and it cannot continue to exist without America, can it?
Well, this is why we have to have an agreement, precisely for the reasons you mentioned. I don't think this is the view from the IAEA, of course, and not the view. I mean, the United States will talk for themselves, and as well as the other partners in the JCPOA. But I believe that in order to walk again into an agreement, an important, far-ranging agreement like the JCPOA, you need to have the basic facts right. And the only organization that can tell you what's going on is the IAEA. If you don't open your doors to the IAEA, then you don't have the facts. So this is why I believe we have to see eye to eye with the minister. I had a very good meeting with him, and I hope that he's talking about a new meeting. I would be happy to receive his invitation. If this happens, I will come, and then we will have to have an agreement. So far, it's been inconclusive.
All right, the Director General of the IAEA, Rafael Grossi, thanks very much for joining us from Vienna.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
A pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right.